Ophelia looked at Alexander's face shift from happy to angry and neutral in seconds. She wondered who was behind her that drew this out of him. "Alexander," the man called and came closer to them. "I was wondering when I would meet her too. Lincoln told me," he said, looking at Ophelia, who was now looking from the man to her husband. "Bozo. I suggest you leave before I break every limb in your body," Alexander threatened, pinning the man to a spot with his piercing gaze. After Alexander removed his eyes, the man ran away, and Ophelia was amazed at the man's reaction to a harmless threat. She made a mental note to ask him about it sometime. The waiter, who was an onlooker, brought out the menu. Alexander turned to his wife. "Sweetheart, should I pick since I know this restaurant, or do you have something in mind you want to eat?" he said lovingly, a huge contrast from the beast that reared his head a few minutes ago. "I want sushi," Ophelia said excitedly. "Really? You mean this is what we came all the way here for?" Alexander asked incredulously. "Yes, I want to eat sushi and drink some Italian wine, please." Alexander looked at her keenly and had a smirk on his face. "So, I'm turning you into an Italian, right? I am turning you into a Tuscany girl," he said. "Right," she exclaimed. So he ordered what he and she would like. "Bring everything, in fact. I want her to choose from an array of food you have," Alexander said to the waiter. "Okay, sir, that can be done," the waiter responded, and went quickly with a perfect smile on his face, knowing that the restaurant had hit the jackpot that evening. "It will cost a lot," the waiter thought to himself, so he quickly went to bring the order. As they waited for their meals, Alexander caught her attention with the clearing of his throat. "Ophelia, now that you are the boss of Calvin and Claire, what are you looking at doing?" Alexander asked her, by way of chatting and getting to know her business sense. "I'm looking at reshuffling because I sense a lot of people there believe their positions are secured, that no one can move them. That is not correct. I was an admin staff when I was sent on errands as if I was a clerk, and I did not frown at it because it enabled me to know so many things that my colleagues never knew about a company's work outlook. So, I want to reshuffle, but it seems that the whole place is reshuffling itself with Harrison's friends getting crazy about the sack. I did not tell you that one of the directors, called Collins, too came by. I'm sure he has been relieved of his duties by now as instructed by me. If the other directors are sensible like I think they are, they would just continue with their work and hope for the best," Ophelia responded. As she was talking, Alexander looked at her, nodding at everything she said. He could see that his wife was really in control of this company. He made up his mind not to tell her too early. He wanted to put her in the right direction so that she would get much work done for the company. It's a wedding gift. She does not know that the company belongs to her. She doesn't know. She only knows that the CEO seat is the wedding gift. "My wife can be obtuse sometimes," Alexander said to himself with a slight chuckle. "Alexander, are you saying something to me?" Ophelia asked. "No, I didn't say anything," her husband denied. "I heard you mutter and you chuckled," Ophelia retorted. "Oh no, thoughts were running through my mind, that's all," he responded. "Then that's good," she stated. Before they could continue their chat, the waiter had wheeled in the trolley of food and placed it beside them. It was a mini buffet, not the general one they noticed on their way upstairs. Ophelia was getting to know this side of Alexander. Wherever he went to eat, and they served him buffet style, he never wanted anybody to know what he wanted to eat at any time. Such a cautious man, Ophelia thought to herself. "Sweetheart, can I serve you? Can I put something on your plate for you?" he asked, pulling her from her thoughts. "No, you serve yourself. I'm still looking and trying to decide what to pick," Ophelia said. Alexander looked at her a bit and laughed. He served himself and started eating. "You have not served yourself, sweetheart," he remarked, looking at Ophelia, who was still choosing which juicy item she would eat. "I will eat in a minute, I promise," Ophelia said. Eventually, she picked the steak and chicken. She put some lettuce, tomatoes, and onions on her plate. She served herself some sushi and started eating. Alexander opened the bottle of wine and poured it into their wine glasses. When he was done, he began to eat. When he took a bite, he would take a sip of wine. Ophelia looked at him and imitated him. She found that the food tasted better. Not too long after they finished eating, they got up. "Alexander, we haven't paid yet," Ophelia said. "Oh, don't worry, it's taken care of," he assured her. "Okay," was all she could say. He consciously took her hand, rubbing against her skin. As she temporarily felt heat, he pulled her as they walked out of the restaurant, back into the car, and headed home. Once they got home, Ophelia began to yawn. Alexander looked at her. "What? Oh, sweetheart, I thought for once you wouldn't be in a hurry to fall asleep. Let's kiss some more," he said seductively. "No, Alexander, not tonight, please. I'm sleepy. I'm drowsy right now. I think the wine... Something got into my head." She fumbled her excuse. "All right, I will leave you to sleep." She went into the bathroom, changed into her nightdress, came out, and lay down on the bed. Alexander did the same. He lay straight on his back and put one hand behind his head as he looked up at the ceiling. He was waiting for her to fall asleep. "Do you want us to cuddle? I can see you have not fallen asleep." "Yes, Alexander," she said, her desperation for something more evident in her voice as her words betrayed her. "I don't know why. Can you just hold me?" Alexander moved close to her and held on to her. She held Alexander's arm around her. "I don't... Alexander?" Ophelia called out to her husband. "Yes, sweetheart," he responded. "Please, I don't want to feel you tonight. Can you do that for me, please?" she requested. Alexander chuckled. "Don't worry. You just go to sleep, okay?" he responded. Not long after, Ophelia started her gentle snore. She was fast asleep, and he too felt comfortable and cozy in that position. In no time, he fell asleep. The next morning, as they woke up and carried out their morning routine in the bathroom, they got dressed for work. "Are we having breakfast?" Alexander asked. "Yes, we should," Ophelia said. When they had finished dressing, Ophelia took her handbag, and both of them walked out of their room. "Cordelia?" Alexander called. "Yes, boss," she responded. "The room," he ordered, and Cordelia knew what to do. Alexander led his wife to the dining area. When they sat down, the food was already there. A steaming pot of coffee, sunny-side-up eggs, sausages, and bacon. They began to eat. As soon as they were done eating, Alexander held up his hand to his wife, and she held his hand as they walked out of the house to the waiting car. Festus always had his engine running, so they drove off to work and dropped Ophelia at her workplace. Her bodyguards escorted her through her private elevator to her office, while Alexander went to his own office. "Bank, how are you today?" Ophelia asked as she arranged her things. "Oh, I'm sorry, madam. Good morning, madam. I am fine," the bodyguard said. "What about Bully and Ben?" "They are at their duty post, madam," he responded. "Thank you so much for keeping watch over me, okay?" "It's our duty, madam," Bank said. "But still, thank you," she said. As she sat down, she pushed her intercom button and called her secretary. "Alice?" "Yes, madam?" "Come," she said. "Yes, madam," Alice responded. In an instant, she was in Ophelia's office. "Good morning, madam. I heard your voice. I just said to bring out the file you gave me yesterday." "Good. Thank you for bringing it. Has the head of accounts come back?" Ophelia asked. "Yes, madam." "Call him for me." Alice ran through the elevator to call the head of accounts, who came immediately. "Good morning, madam," he greeted. "Good morning, head of accounts. Any more information?" she asked. "Not yet, madam, but I'm working on the report. I'll bring it to you in an hour's time." "All right, I'll be waiting," she said. "Right, madam." With that said, he left. Ophelia remembered she wanted to call her sister. She pulled out her phone from her bag and dialed her sister's number. "Hello, Jeanette. Is that you?" Jeanette started laughing. "Ophelia, why did you ask if that's you?" "My mind is off this morning. Don't mind me, Jeanette. How are you today?" "I'm good, sis. And how are you too?" "Same here, Jeanette." "How is your lovely husband? It was so great to have met him. He is such a lovely man, you know," Jeanette said to Ophelia. "Yes, I know. It's just that I am not too clear about certain things, so let's just leave it like that. When we see each other this evening, we'll talk some more. Okay? Are we seeing each other this evening? Jeanette asked, wondering what this was about. Yes, I thought we should go to my favorite club, Ophelia said. The Monsoon Lounge? Her sister asked. Yes, let's go there so we can have some girls' time out. Okay, if you say so. I've longed to have that with you. I just want Mother to get out of my hair because with this postponement of the wedding, she is all over me. I just want to breathe another air. Jeanette vented her frustration. Okay, good. So, 4 p.m. will be okay? Ophelia asked. No, I'll come by 3. I'll come to your office, then we can leave from there, sis. Okay, good. So, I'll see you by 3, Ophelia said and ended the call. A little bit after an hour later, the head of accounts brought the file back and the report. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, madam, he responded. You can go back to your office. She put the report in the file and promised herself she was taking it home to read in private and let Alexander see it. She was a bit restless. She didn't know what to do. She pulled out her phone again and busied herself playing a game when they called through on her phone. It was Alexander. Sweetheart, how are you doing? I'm fine. How are you doing yourself? I'm doing great, Alexander responded. Are you still saying we shouldn't go for lunch? He asked. No, you can go. I don't want to take any lunch. I just want to go out this evening. Jeanette and I will be going out, she informed her husband. No, I don't want you going out anywhere, he ordered. Come on, what is this? Am I in prison or something? Ophelia asked, her voice tinged with anger. No, sweetheart, calm down. That isn't what I mean. You know the risks out there, he tried to explain. Staying alive is also risky, Ophelia countered. All right, Ophelia, if that is what you want, go ahead then, he agreed finally. All right, thank you, my husband. Really? Are you turning that on me right now? Alexander asked with laughter in his voice. Yes. Okay, bye. All right. Alexander ended the call. Before long, it was 3 o'clock. She checked her time. It was 3:05 p.m. Where's Jeanette? She asked herself. As soon as she said that, she heard a knock on the door. Come in. Alice came in. Your sister, madam. Oh, okay, let her come in. In no time, her sister walked in, smiling. Jeanette, I have been wondering where you were. You said 3 o'clock. Look at the time. Check your time. You don't know how to keep to time. You better learn it, you'll soon get married. She laughed. Why are you so anxious? I just feel caged and I don't like this feeling. Can we go now? Okay, Bank, I'll be going and I have told my husband about it. He knows. You can all leave, or you can call him so that they can send the security car to you. Madam, thank you, but let me escort you down and ensure that you are secured in your sister's car, he said. It's okay. He joined them in the private elevator, and they went down to Jeanette's car. She entered the car, and Bank pleaded with her to hold on. He pulled out his phone. Yes, boss, he said, and she knew it was her husband instantly. She will be going alone. There is nobody there with her. All right, boss. Okay, you can go. Ophelia waved at Bank, and he had a stiff smile on his face because he was not allowed to do his job the way he should do it. So Jeanette took her sister, and they drove to the Monsoon Lounge. They got a table for 2, and both ordered gin and tonic. In a short while, Ophelia went to the ladies, and by the time she came out, her sister had already made a friend. Oh, sis, I've made a new friend. Her name is Christina, Jeanette said to her sister. Really? Hi, Christina? Ophelia said, trying to be friendly. Her sister had a flair for making friends. Will you join us? If you don't think I'm intruding, Christina said. No, you can sit with us. What would you like to drink? Same thing you are having, Christina answered. Ophelia ordered a second round. I'm the one driving. I can't take more than this, Jeanette pointed out. Yeah, that's true. Ophelia gulped down her drink. She wanted to go for a third one. Jeanette said no. After a while, Christina exchanged phone numbers with them, and they had her number too. They planned another girls' day out for the 3 of them, Then they said their goodbyes. Jeanette held her sister's hand to help her to the car. Once she opened the door of the car and sat Ophelia there, she got into the car and drove back to the castle. At the castle, she had to come down to pull Ophelia out of the car. After she did, she lifted her head and saw Alexander. "Thank God, here's your woman," Jeanette said as he carried Ophelia from her sister's struggling arms. "You got drunk again. When will this stop?" he muttered, then turned his head to Jeanette. "Okay, thank you, Jeanette," Alexander said as she stepped into her car and waved. He carried his wife, and she started playing with his hair in her drunken state and pulled him for a kiss. "No, I don't kiss drunken women," he said, his eyes dark and cold. "I'm sorry," she said. When he took her to the room, he laid her on the bed. She was already out like a light. At that moment, a text message came on her phone. He picked it up and read it. "Thanks for tonight, I love you.